Hello, it's Raul. I'm with the Catch Wrestling Alliance, and we want to help you elevate your grappling and at the same time keep real wrestling alive. Thank you very much for joining or listening or watching on our YouTube channel. We're also on Twitch, and we also are on like podcast versions. So it depends on where you're listening to. So wherever you're listening or watching from, thank you. Really appreciate that. Um, so first things first, let's go ahead and kind of give you some updates. So actually, just yesterday we launched our new video online course. So that's going to be on our website, so catchwrestlingalliance.com. It is very good. It is part one of our pressure pass system. So what that is I think a lot of people who do nogi um, I kind of know the whole idea of pressure passing. So it's become a thing where, like in Nogi, since it's much more like divorced from having kind of like a good understanding of wrestling, or at least wrestling principles, like pinning principles and whatnot. So when someone uses these kinds of wrestling, like pressure pinning type principles, they call it pressure, right? So people recognize it as pressure passing, right? So there's quite a lot of pressure passing, or also um, uh, putting pressure on someone to make sure they stay where you need them to stay, so that you can then do your submission holds. Like say if it's in a no-gi situation in particular, right? Since there's no pins allowed, then you can be doing your pressure, keeping the person right where you need them to be kept, so that you can set up your submission holds after that. So that is what our new video course goes over. So we go over how to do. We basically have like in this case, or volume one will be uh, like pressure passing from one technique in particular, a type of cradle that we can use from like if someone is in guard. So if I'm in someone's guard, you can actually set up a really great cradle hold, and that can set up passes, but then you can also set up different types of, say, like neck cranks, straight arm bars, leg locks as well. So you can also say you can pass to side control, you can pass to what we call head and arm ride. So there's a lot of things that you can do using wrestling or catch wrestling principles in particular. And that's another thing we're going to talk about in a future live stream, because there's been basically another really storied wrestling, like someone who came from a wrestling family they made wrestling movies about, got submitted by we you can probably consider a more novice like grappler, right? Someone who's known more for kickboxing, and was able to submit this big time storied wrestler. So we'll talk about that next time. But a lot of stuff to talk about, but um, just wanted to let people know about our new class, our new online course. So that's on our website, catchwrestlingalliance.com. Pressure Pass System Volume 1, because I mean there's so many different ways to pass. So I wanted to start with one, a cradle from guard, and we go over different types of offensive techniques. So the pins, the passes, and several types of submission holds. Plus, in the course, we go over troubleshooting. So, like if you don't do it right, like if you don't do it correctly, then there's kind of common ways that people try to counter this technique. So we show you follow throughs just in case you get countered, how to counter back, right? So it should be very helpful, very beneficial for you. So please check it out. It's on our website now. It's live on our website. Um, so so there. um, Let me see. We're already getting some people chatting. So um, let's all right, but let's go ahead and we'll get to in your. So feel free to comment or whatever. I won't check them out quite yet. Um, well, let me just get to our topic at hand first, and then we'll get to all your comments and questions right after that. Okay, so what's the main topic, right? We've been talking about self-defense the past few weeks, and in the United States recently, we've had a few cases, a few high-profile court cases that involved the suspect, or at least the person who's accused of a crime. They have claimed that they were responding in self-defense, where someone ended up dead. Right, so the picture in our the thumbnail for this video is Ahmaud Aubrey. He was murdered by a group of guys, um, and they all claimed to be uh, like defending themselves, right? So um, we'll kind of let the video. Well, actually, I do have the video that they shot. So there's the thing. So, and I think the main point is that you can't always claim self-defense for everything. And then for years, actually, because on our live stream, it's come up a few times where we talk about what self-defense is, and I think in the United States in particular, I'm sure maybe even in other countries, but in the United States in particular, since there's a really strong gun culture, that a lot of people believe that they can kill someone when they are threatened, right? And even in the United, so that's not true anywhere else in the world, and it shouldn't be true in the United States. But sometimes people are able to kind of get away with it. But in the Ahmaud Aubrey case, um, this is actually what should happen, right? So regardless of if so, what happened was group of guys, they saw this man jogging, and they said that he said that there was the group of men said that he was probably trying to break into homes, and supposedly there was uh, a crime spree going on in the neighborhood, and the police said that later they checked, and of course there was no crime spree going on. There was no like chain of burglaries going on. But and this is the thing, so in the case of self-defense, if someone is attacking you and threatening you, then you can match their force, but you cannot go beyond it, right? So even though you think someone's trying to attack you with intent to kill you, you really can't kill them back, right? You really, ideally, you have to try to neutralize them, right? So you kind of can restrain them or get them to get away from you, or you can injure them, or what. Well, I don't even want to say you can injure them, but the thing is, once you get an advantage over them, and you get to a point where you can start hurting them, then you can become the aggressor, right? You can be then put on trial. And so in the case of Ahmaud Aubrey, these men, so there was men, so it was like I think it was like three guys versus one. They all had guns. I believe that Ahmaud, did not have a gun whatsoever. He was out jogging. And so let's go ahead and show you the video, because you might as well be thorough. It's pretty sad, but might as well. Okay, here it is. Okay, so you won't be able to hear me right now. But basically, well, we'll play it and then I'll describe the scenario. All right. So happened really quickly. So I'll probably end up playing it a few times. But the thing is, three men. So one of them was the guy filming, and what you could have heard, you might not have heard it, just on the first listen. But when the camera angle goes down, it means the guy's actually reaching for his gun on his, like, near him, next to him in his car or truck or whatever he's driving, right? And you can hear it click, right? So the thing is, they are already using too much force against someone who does not have the capability of using even anywhere near the same amount of force back. So even if Ahmaud Arbery was attacking any one of them, they already have three. So three against one, uh, they're already going into the aggressor phase, and then they all are armed, and he's not. So then they've gone already way beyond that, right? Also, the guys they were found guilty, all three of them, right? But they filmed this in order to try to use it as evidence that they were uh, defending themselves, and the court found that, like, basically they're like, thank you for filming your hyper aggressive attack on a man that left him dead. Um, so for people to, I'm trying to get people to understand this, like, there is this fine line for self defense, and once you get an advantage, then you have to not kill that person, right? You have to refrain from that. So really, they should have left that man alone, right? Um, and really, yeah, they should have just left the man alone, right? There's really nothing that there's no real defense for them, especially because he was not threatening them. So that's kind of the main thing. If you do feel like if you can verify that there's some threat, like, so if someone's actually coming at you, it has to be kind of like a clear threat, right? So if someone jogging in your neighborhood is not a threat, right? So that you have to identify an actual threat, and then it has to be coming at you. So you can't be like this vigilante chasing people around your neighborhood, because especially if you don't know everyone who lives in that neighborhood, then you can end up in scenarios like this, right? And then they were all armed, and the other person did not have a chance to uh, match or even come anywhere near close to the amount of of life-threatening power that the group of three men were able to, right? So you have to remember that with self-defense, because we definitely want to like show more self-defense stuff, but has to be with great. What was that line from Spider-Man? It's like a great responsibility for with a great power, right? Right. So um okay, actually, yeah, some people are already asking questions. Noachian, um, they killed him because it seems it could be racially motivated. So these are all, um, these men saw someone who was, um, like, different from them, right, in their neighborhood, and then they quickly jumped to this man being a criminal, right? So that's the other thing. Someone's in your neighborhood. You don't know everyone in your neighborhood, right? Especially if you don't know everyone in your neighborhood, and especially if, like, um, uh, like, depending on where you live, no matter how populated it is, there might be someone visiting or whatever. But he was out jogging or whatever, so they tried to claim that there was some burglary spree going on, and the police said that there was not. There was not a burglary spree being reported whatsoever. So just someone who looked different from them, and so then they quickly jumped to way beyond a rational conclusion, right? And they used way too much force to, quote unquote, defend themselves from a non-threat, right? So you have to. I think the main, one of the other main points is for people to realize that you can't just, especially in the United States, you can't just get away with it, right? You can't, because we, in the United States in particular, um, we've had quite a few cases where an aggressor, was able to get out, like, get away with some, basically killing someone, and they're claiming self-defense. But in the Ahmaud Arbery case, this is actually the way it should happen, right? When someone is using way too much force and to, quote unquote, defend themselves, then in court, and these guys actually provided ample evidence to show that they were in the wrong completely. So I think this is what helped them. And in other cases, like with the Trayvon Martin one, I don't think there was any video. Um, but it was still a scenario where someone who had way more, um, like way more potential to do harm, uh, like should have not been found innocent or should not have been able to get away with it, but they were. And I think in this case, maybe the video really helped to like show that this was not self-defense, right? So, and this is the way. This is ultimately the way a lot of these cases should go, right? Maybe it helps to have video. That is really interesting that the guys themselves who were claiming self-defense filmed it, where one person ended up dying, but they ended up providing ample evidence that they were the aggressors. So this is another like the takeaway is that someone has to be clearly threatening you, and regardless of if you feel that they are like trying to kill you or not, if you have the skills and ability to fight back or whatever, what say like if you get them onto the ground and if they're armed and you've disarmed them, and they really don't have a way to fight back from like your powerful skills and you're restraining them, controlling them, then you cannot continue to hurt them, because then you have the chance, especially if it's in public on the street and someone's filming, then they'll have plenty of evidence that you've you've reached the point of you've passed the point of self-defense, right? So once you're able to neutralize their threat against you, then once you take it to the point where you are starting to hurt them, then you are becoming the aggressor, right? So that's kind of like the key point that hopefully everyone takes home, because in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, rest in peace. There's a lot of cases like this, but hopefully, um, a lot of cases where injustice was was the result, but this one we had some justice, and this is a way. This is probably most likely the way it would have occurred in another country, right? So this is kind of an international kind of like standard, but in the United States, people have been able to get off. And then I think with if more of the stuff gets filmed, then you can more verify like when someone is going beyond self-defense. Right? Noah, people complain about filming after the fact. It's really useful. I have to understand what happened. Yes, yeah, you have to understand basically and the context, right? Because people talk about like, oh, well, like the result was taken out of context or whatever. But once you get like many minutes of film footage, then then you can kind of piece together what happened exactly, because each individual involved in the scenario might have different recollection, especially when you get really excited about something, then like our sense of time kind of changes, our memory of what we did in particular kind of changes. So video is pretty much just like that cold observer, right? So that you can kind of get an example of what really occurred, and how long things took, who was the real aggressor, and if it started off as self-defense, if you then neutralized that that offender, and if you then start attacking them and hurting them and potentially killing them, then you've gone from victim to aggressor, or to what, perpetrator or whatever. So you can then be uh, put on trial and potentially be found guilty of like really harming or even killing someone. So the Ahmaud Arbery case, since we have like the film footage, it would basically just verified that they were not like defending themselves. X Zero Dust or Exodus. Is it Exodus? What's up? What's up, Exodus? Thanks for watching. So the subject is um, how to recognize when you're becoming the aggressor, right? So we'll go ahead and show the video again here. This happens to be the Ahmaud Aubrey case that just cleared up a couple weeks ago. I wanted to chat about it real quick. So just to get because we talk about self-defense often, and so let's let you see. So there's basically three armed guys against one jogger. Check this out. All right. Very short. Supposedly, according to the news, the video is just a little bit longer, and you can, but not much longer. Only enough to hear an extra gunshot being fired, but that's about it, right? Um, so what you can see is that basically one person against three armed guys. It's not fair. So and they're going beyond the whole self-defense idea, right? So they go beyond self-defense to aggressor, right? And they're seems like they were just more like they were always the aggressor. It appears according to the reports. They were never defending themselves. They were always the aggressor. But so for you need to keep in mind that leave people alone, right? And then if someone then becomes aggressive or takes an aggressive stance towards you, and it's very clear, then you have the permission legally to defend yourself, but you can't be going around killing people. That's the thing. That's usually the international standard. United States, some people have gotten away with such things, but potentially with video, then it's a less. It might be they might be getting away with it less. So there, those are the main point, because we want to be coming out with more self defense video series, because a lot of you have been asking for those types of things, and I've worked really closely with self defense schools, and have the certifications, self defense certifications, and stuff like that. So that's why I know about this type of law, and it's an international thing where it's like you can't someone even if someone really tries to hurt you, and then you're really still not allowed to kill them, right? So try to and try to remember killing's bad, right? That's kind of the main thing. So use your skills to restrain and to just try to neutralize the situation, so that you don't end up and basically stop once you're able to take control of the situation, and then you will not become the aggressor, and you will not have to worry about being put on trial, right? Okay, so let people live their lives. So if you see someone jogging past you, let them jog past you, right? They probably are trying to work out. Okay, and I'm sure that you'd appreciate the same courtesy instead of getting followed by some people, right? Yeah, Noah, face lock them. Yeah, 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 exactly. You can totally use a face lock um, to restrain someone. Right, pinning is also really good. There's been some cases where I think it was in the Midwest, but I'm sure there are several where it's like someone with wrestling background held down, basically pinned an opponent at a convenience store. There's some video of that. I probably show that, like, so we'll do like a live stream where we show footage of like people who use like wrestling, or using wrestling pins in like self-defense scenarios. And then because there were some where like one guy pins this guy who probably trying to rob the gas station, pins them down inside the convenience store part, and then the police come soon after. So then the guy just, like the wrestler just pinned the guy down, for a short amount of time, and the police took care of the rest. And then there was another one where I believe it was like a solo police officer couldn't hold someone down or something like that, and then like a wrestler was able to just easily use some pinning principles to hold the guy down, so that like the officer was able to like handcuff the person they were chasing or whatever. So there's a lot of scenarios like that where it's like, again, even from the cops, right? So sometimes cops might use excessive force and whatnot. So you see then some random wrestler able to just easily hold someone down using pinning principles, right? So these are the types of things that we kind of want to let people know about or let people be aware of, and these are the types of things when I get to making the self-defense video. We actually have we made it already, but I want to refine it a little bit, like the video course for self-defense. Um, so I want to redo it. Basically, that's why it's not out. But before that comes out, I want people to get the right idea of self-defense. Right? You can't just go around hurting people. Right? So with that being said, let's go back to what we put out just yesterday. Is uh, our pressure pass system. So speaking of pinning, right? We The pressure pass system volume 1 is about if you're in a nogi situation, you're in someone's full guard, how to use a cradle to pass their guard. And once you pass them, you can pin them. And we show you a couple, a few pins, and then we also show you a few leg locks going from, basically the head, right? So neck cranks, arm locks, and leg locks. And then we show you how to troubleshoot the technique, so that if you don't do it quite right and the other person is able to try to counter you, then we show you a few counter moves, to strike back, right? So if you make a mistake, you can still salvage your move, right? You can still win, right? So we show you quite a few things with regards to that. So that's new on our website, catchwrestlingalliance.com. So feel free to check it out. Let us know if you have any other questions, because then, so that pressure pass system, it is, and I put it on there, volume 1, because I want to make several volumes from different scenarios, especially since nogi is getting really popular nowadays. Catch wrestling can be very effective, and it can give you a real edge against your competition. I use these techniques all the time in nogi, and including at the MMA gym I teach at, or even the jiu-jitsu gym that I roll at. So all this stuff really works. My students also use it, and they go to a bunch of different open mats and whatnot. So we roll with a lot of different people, a lot of different schools of jiu-jitsu, and all this stuff really, really works. So if you want to get an advantage over people, I really recommend you at least doing this class. You can also join our Catch Wrestling Alliance Academy, CWA Academy. That's also on our website. So that is more of like, if you want like a affiliation, and also like moving up the ranks in authentic catch wrestling. And if you're not around LA or my good buddy on the East Coast, John Strickland, and then you can do our online courses. Then also, if you want to support us, you can become a member of our YouTube channel. So we have more. I'm actually going to I did an extra video that I did not add into the pressure pass system. So I made a bonus video, and that will be available if you become a member of our channel, our YouTube channel, at the medium tier. So that'll be an extra video that the members get. Right. So we put a bunch of different videos up there, alternate endings from like alternate submissions that you can do for some of the videos that we put out on our main channel. We also have some presentations, like we did a really cool one in the home of Frank Gotch, in the park that he used to train at, which is really amazing because it's like 100 years later. Catch wrestling occurs right in the same location where one of the greatest to ever whoever did catch wrestling, like we were there, putting on a show for the locals. We also have some behind the scenes grappling footage in our training. We also, we have a lot of stuff. And then I just discovered a hard drive that has a lot of footage, a lot of actually really high quality footage um, from some of the seminars that I did in Singapore. So I guess like over Christmas, then I'll probably go over. I'll probably look at what we got because I found on the hard drive there were like tons of files. All really good. I guess one of the students who was going to film the tournament that we had, he had a really great camera, so he was just testing it out, and so all the footage of our seminars looks really great. So I'll see what I can like put together if I can make it into like one long video or several short ones. I'll see what works best, but that will definitely be available for members of our YouTube channel. So if you don't want to, be a student, you can always support us by becoming a member of our YouTube channel. That's always a huge help. All right, so I think there's all these different ways you can support what we're doing. Definitely appreciate everyone, and we want to really try to help everyone who wants to become a better grappler. We want to help you to elevate your grappling skills, and at the same time, we want to preserve this great art that is functional not only with wrestling, but it can help with self-defense. It can help with wrestling itself, right? And then also in modern no gi, it helps with gi as well. But I mean, um, I think since no gi would be a much easier bridge because it's really closer to what we do, right? It's just they don't have pins. They also their rules are different, but you can still use the wrestling principles to get an edge over your opponent, right? So I think that's why we also have was like a few months ago that Nogi guru John Danaher was talking about the benefits of knowing how to pin somebody, right? How you can use that to control the person, and then you can set up your submission. So it's something that catch wrestlers have understood for a long time, and something you can see in a lot of our YouTube videos that are available to everyone, but something you can find especially in our new video course, Pressure Pass System Volume 1, our CWA Academy, right? So depending on how in depth you want to go, we're here for you, right? So feel free to let us know like which like what are other topics that you'd like us to go over, and we'll totally do it. Jonathan Jimenez, put your aggressor in a pirate crucifix or a toe hold, right? Yeah. So that even the like these types of holds, right, are like they're enough to keep someone down, and you can control them enough so that that you'll still be okay, right? And you wouldn't become the aggressor, um, and you won't risk having to go to jail or prison, right? Noah, right? Kiss him while you do it. Yeah, exactly. And make sure that you get that filmed, right? So you can say like, "Hey, I'm being gentle, right? I'm being gentle." Uh, yeah. So I think I got my point across. Hopefully, people understand that where it's like for self defense, in particular, because um, yeah. So we'll just keep at it. But I thought that the Ahmaud Arbery case was basically the way things should go. So I wanted to highlight that, and then the coming weeks we'll go ahead and highlight other things that have been going on. Where I mentioned it earlier, where there was uh, a recent MMA fight where someone who has like this long family history of freestyle wrestling, and they got submitted by a beginner jiu-jitsu practitioner. So like the other point that I bring up often is that amateur wrestling is not enough. All right, so we'll go over that next time. All right, so thank everyone Thank you everyone from for listening, from or watching from wherever you are, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or our our podcast. So we want to try to continue to help you. We want to elevate your grappling, and together we can keep real wrestling alive. Thank you very much.